Hello Warriors, it's Horde Prepper here. So the big question on everybody's mind now is, well, the New Year's rolled in and we haven't seen any sort of upheaval, any sort of real war. There are a lot of birds, crows out today, and it's actually a very dark day. My phone is kind of making it bright, but it's actually quite a dark day. We haven't seen any sort of real upheaval, and many people, some people thought, we were supposed to see it by now. We were supposed to see certain things fall into place by now. And I can agree with that. I can definitely say, yeah, you know, I would have expected to see certain things happen by now. It seems like certain things have been being drawn out, and by certain things, I know you Warriors, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I've got to be very picky and choosy with what I say on this platform. So, but I know you Warriors know what I'm talking about. You know exactly what I'm talking about when I say we thought certain things may have come into play by now, or would have taken place by now. But either way, it seems like that I've been being drawn out. Like perhaps they're baiting us or waiting for something to happen to push them into doing said things. But I do want to say, Warriors, don't let them stall you. Don't let them make you think that, oh, let me just let my guard down. Nothing's going to happen. I've been at this for a long time. Nothing's happening. I'm just going to drop my guard. Don't let them do that to you. Don't let that happen. There's certainly big things coming on the pipeline, and we want to be ready for that. But back to point. What does this new year have to hold? What is coming down for the new year? Well, Warriors, if you ask me, this right here says everything you need to know. That's what's happening in the new year. These articles, yeah, that's what's coming. So first, I just want to say, the U.S. tells the Marines no longer to say "sir" and such because it may offend certain people in the Marines. Warriors, if there's one place in society, in all the world, where people should not be offended by being mistermed or misaddressed, it is in the army. But yet we are having to pipe down the words we say in our army because certain people might be offended. This is beyond extreme. And as far as I'm concerned, Warriors, this tells me that, you know, they're putting these articles out. They're putting these articles out, and it's right there for the world to see. It's plain for the world to see that the U.S. is doomed. Our society, as we knew it, it's doomed. We don't have the U.S. that you knew, the U.S. that you grew up in, even the U.S. that I grew up in, it's dead. Because when our army is now labeling hate speech within the army, when we're now saying, yeah, that's hate speech within the army, then that means the people that are in the army are wimps. That means the people that are being offended within the army are the wimpiest sort of cowards you'll ever find. And these are the people that are on our battlefields. These are the people that are on the front lines for the USA. I hear a lot of preppers talk about, you know, when the time comes, we're going to fight for the US. We're going to stand up and we're going to fight for our country. What a lot of those preppers don't realize is that the country that they think they're going to fight for, and I'm not cursing anyone out. I'm not trying to hit at anyone. But the country that you thinking that, oh yeah, I'll fight for it, that country is long gone. That country no longer exists. There's no longer a U.S., United States of America. We're more divided than we've ever been. And if you think that you're going to one day wake up and just go fight for the U.S. and then win and everything's going to go back to normal, you're sadly mistaken. Because the people that are in charge, the people that are running this place, don't want it to look how it used to. They don't want the U.S. to be that strong, independent America that it was. that's not what they want. The only the only way the US is going to become close to anything that it was, and don't get me wrong, I'm not advocating violence. That's not what I'm trying to do at all. But the only way the US will become anything close to what it was when we fought World War One, World War Two, is if we get some mega. I'm not talking about like some general or something. I'm talking about some mega Republican in the seat, someone that has the right ideals, and then the people behind him will rally up and actually step out of their houses and fight for what they get online and say. That's the only way we'll ever get back this nation. But that's not going to happen because people are too afraid, and they're too comfortable on their couches. They're too comfortable to get out and do something. So the US that we knew is gone. I will say this: one of the ways you can tell that the America that once was is gone is because, well, you look at World War One and World War Two, and the people that fought those wars, and the people that nation, the people that were in that nation would have already risen up and rebelled against the tyranny that we see in our leadership today. They would have already said, "I don't think so, I've had enough," and they would have already rebelled. That's one key way of how you know that the nation's gone. So, in answer to the big question, what does the US have in store for, what do we have in store for 2023, for the new year? More tyranny, more plagues and diseases, more shots, more quarantines, all that good stuff. Oh, and don't forget the war in Russia. More of that stuff too. We might even have a nuclear war in our hands. Who knows? Either way, warriors, stay strong. Don't let them bait you. Don't let the powers that be make you drop your guard. Don't drop your guard. Because you're going to be very glad you didn't when the chips fall. Because they will. And yeah, stay out of the cold. Oh, one more thing I wanted to touch on is that winter storm that just passed, and apparently there's another one coming. But that winter storm that just passed, we talked about how a lot of people were going to die, no matter that, even though they had warning signs, and the hurricane and Florida just passed and people died. We were talking about how people were still going to die either way in this winter storm because people don't prepare. They're relying on the government to tell them what to do. They don't prepare. They don't have a storehouse of their own. They just don't. Sure enough, people died. I believe like 70 people died in the winter storm, froze to death. And that's generally because they weren't prepared. They weren't ready for the storm, and the storm came, and they weren't ready. Don't let that be you, warriors. I know you warriors are prepared, are not preparing the best you can. Otherwise, you wouldn't be watching this channel. So, like I said, stay out of the cold, and I'll see you on the line of battle.